Shake, 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 Sinora, shake it all the time.
When you add a shake of Frank's Red Hot, you open a world of better. A world where wings bring out the flavor of game day any day, and where buffalo chicken dip takes any party up a notch. It's the perfect blend of flavor and heat. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
Guys, good morning. Happy Monday, or good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you're listening to this. Welcome to the Bird Brain Podcast, where the goal is to rise above it all, stay elevated, create that infinity up your you. I'm your host, Isaiah, and today we are going to talk about an apology, a genuine apology, but the nuances that comes with an apology. There's so many things happening on so many sides, and it's interesting because something last week transpired, and I was technically in the wrong, but there were so many components that were right about it. If you like what you're listening to, head on over to iTunes, subscribe, comment, rate, review, and thank you guys who have left reviews and ratings. This is just helping build the podcast. It's helping spread the word, so I appreciate that. If you have not done it, get on it. What are you doing? And if you want to support the podcast, head on over to Patreon. I also will be adding another tier thanks to my TikToker crew. I'll be adding a roundtable tier where, you know, every week after the podcast is released, there will be a day, possibly Wednesday or Thursday, that we can have a live stream, so to speak, with patrons. And we talk about the episode, because for me, it's like, it's not just about me saying things and being like, this is law. Obviously, I'm coming from my experiences, but you know, it's cool to have a conversation with other people and have them share their thoughts, their perspective, and finding some common ground, right? So yeah, I'll be doing that. I think that'll be amazing, and also enlightening for a lot of reasons, myself included. So yeah, there's that. And yeah, stay tuned. I think that's it. So yeah, grab a pen and paper. Grab some water. If you are driving, put on your damn seatbelt and just go along for the ride. I got a lot to share with you guys, so stay tuned. Guys, happy Monday, and I just want to say thank you to every listener who purchased a pre-order copy of the coloring book. I sold out on Friday. Oh man, and what a feeling, and what a thought, and what the gratitude I have for that. And I'm just at a loss for words. Like, I don't know how to describe how much that meant to have the support pour in like it did, and that quickly. So to my listeners who purchased a copy, thank you so much. And I cannot wait to sign these suckers, write in them, and give them to you personally as a way of, you know, reminding you of who you are, but also to just a token of appreciation. Like, it's a big deal. It is a big deal. So if you're listening and you purchase a copy, thank you. And I can't wait till you have this book and you're just going along for the journey, your journey and mine. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. So thank you guys. On to that. Last week, Um, one of my buddies called me out because you know they felt that they were on kind of like the outskirts of whatever was going on with me, etc. They said they felt like this for a while, so they checked me on it, and we ended up having the conversation. And this is so good. So basically, they felt as if I was being distant or kind of like guarded with them. They didn't know why, and obviously didn't feel good about that. They obviously didn't feel good about that. So when that happened, it was an opportunity for me to say certain things out loud. And the end result, things were resolved, but it was also a couple of components involved in that were very important. So I didn't tell them about the book. I think at all. I didn't tell them about the book at all, and I kind of had my reasons, because there were moments in our relationship in the past, like not too far of a past, but like just certain things that kind of popped up for me, and I was just like, "Ooh, nope." Yeah, nope, and no, and no, and no, and no, maybe, but a no, and a lot of times there are things that transpire or something someone says just in passing where you're just like, oh shit, okay. And, it goes through my filter of experiences. They may not even know what the hell they're saying. It could just be like, milk. They're saying the word milk, but milk in my head means that I can't fucking trust you. You know what I'm saying? Like you saying the word milk kind of fires off all cylinders. And now we have an issue to address. So that was kind of the precipice for me keeping my distance. And I expressed that. I was like, look, how I moved was not to make you feel bad or make you feel some type of way. It was simply me taking care of myself and protecting myself from certain things that I've already experienced. But I do apologize for making you feel a certain type of way. And whether or not, see, okay, so here's the meat and potatoes of it. An apology is not just the words, but also awareness, accountability, and changed behavior. Those are the components of an apology. Now, there's a difference between apologizing for an action and feeling like you're apologizing for your existence. The great thing about that conversation was both parties, both of us, were able to discuss where we were coming from in terms of why we felt the way that we felt about the other person. He felt that he was being shut out. He didn't understand why. He didn't see a reason why. I felt that there were certain things that transpired that I was just like, okay, I need to kind of keep you at a distance because I don't trust you with things that are important to me. And I said that. I don't trust you with my good news, so I'm not going to share it with you. That's just what it is. And it's not just me not trusting you. There are certain things that were said or done up until this point that just kind of made me that put me on pause or put me on notice. And for me, like I said to him, it's not about me trying to hurt you. It's about me protecting myself. And I think I've talked about this before. It's all about the people you want to share good news with first. Think of the people you want to share good news with first. What qualities do they possess and exhibit that make you want to come to them with your guard down? What is that about them? And pay attention to that, because there's truth in that and there's validation in that. There's a reason for that. You know where you grow, right? We know where we grow. We know who's going to water the seeds that we plant. We know that consistently. And it's not about having yes men or yes woman in your corner. It's simply about knowing that this is a person that's going to take care of my sense of peace. And my peace could be my accomplishments. My peace could be my vulnerability. My peace could be anything that I deem as peace. I know where I can go without thought that this is going to be taken care of properly. I'm good. And also, they're good because there's a mutual understanding of just appreciation. Okay. So when I personally don't feel that, I limit where I go. And there's validation in that. See, when I apologize about how I made him feel, it's not the whole thing, I'm sorry you're upset or I'm sorry you feel that way. It's like, hey, look, I definitely apologize for making you feel bad. And while how we feel a lot of times, our feelings are always valid, right? How we feel is based off of experiences. How he felt about what I was doing is based off of his experiences. How I felt when it came to him is based off of my own experiences, history, patterns. It could be with the person specifically, or it could be with a history of your people. Either way, your feelings are existing in this space because of a certain causation. But one thing I want you to be mindful of is that when you apologize for quote unquote being wrong, you don't apologize for your existence. Like I said, I did not apologize for me being on guard or me being the way I am because there's history. And I pointed certain things out to him. I was like, this is the reason why. This is the reason why. Whether they choose to accept that or not, or whether they choose to even hold themselves accountable for it. And we did a dance. There was a dance there where it was just like, okay, maybe they don't feel like what they did was wrong. And technically they possibly didn't even do anything wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's coming through my filter of experiences. So what was I saying? How they feel, how I feel are coming from two different places. And I don't need to apologize for my existence, right? When you apologize for wrongdoing, it doesn't make you a wrong person. I'll say that again. When you apologize for wrongdoing, it doesn't make you a wrong person. It just means you're aware and you're willing to accept accountability. Now, there's a difference between someone saying, hey, I'm sorry for this, and they keep doing the same shit, right? And that's the beauty of having a conversation when there is miscommunication or confusion, is that now both parties in the ideal situation are aware of what affects the other person. So if there's a continuation of that same behavior, now you have free will to move how you need to move because you've already communicated what's important to you and what affects you and what doesn't. It's not about changing the other person, right? The goal is to not change either person. Like when we had the conversation, it wasn't about us changing the other person. It was just about clarity of what the hell is going on. Because there are some times where, I'll list my instances this year alone. I have 3 or 4 instances in mind where there was an opportunity for clarity, and either there wasn't any clarity at all, there was a defensiveness that happened, there was awareness, and clarification and change behavior, or there was just nothing. There was literally nothing, or there was an apology and a continued behavior. So the apology and a continued behavior, it's like someone saying, hey, I know I'm being a shitty friend. I know I'm being a shitty friend. That's their apology. So that tells me a couple of things. The fact that you said that you know what you're doing and you know how it affects me, or you know how it affects this relationship, that means you're aware of what you're doing. Now, if it continues to happen, I have to now do for myself. I have to take matters into my own hands, because a true apology comes with change behavior. And if you don't feel the need to apologize and or change your behavior, then that's kind of manipulative. It's like you're trying to null the moment where you're uncomfortable and just kind of get out of it. Hey, I know I fucked up. But you keep doing it and you're aware of it. You just told me that you know. So being that you know, and we both know, and nothing's happening, it is now my responsibility to move accordingly. That's one. Just recently, there were things that felt off. And the reason why I say don't apologize for your existence is because this particular situation I have with my buddy is an outlier. A lot of times when I don't feel a certain way about somebody, or something feels a little bit off, there's confirmation. The clarity comes, the clarity comes when it's necessary. And on multiple occasions that has happened. And it's unfortunate, because you just want to understand how to improve your relationship with someone. And I don't care who it is. And either they get defensive and they kind of like lash out, or, it just becomes this argument versus like, hey, this is what's going on. Or they're dishonest, or they just decide that it's easier for them to not talk to you at all and just kind of leave you in limbo. Now, I don't like how that feels. I don't like being left in limbo when shit's going down. So how can I make myself responsible to not put somebody else through that? Especially if it's somebody that's important to me. Now, what I appreciated about my buddy addressing me and speaking up about how he felt is that indicates that this is somebody who does value me, our relationship, and they don't feel okay about the circumstances of where it is right now. Clarity. Sometimes that is a telltale sign of who is who. Sincerely, I love opportunities to be wrong about someone. I love being proven wrong, because that's how rarely it typically happens. So to be wrong in a situation is a breath of fresh air, because it means that, okay, this person is different, and that's okay. Allow yourself to be wrong sometimes. And there is not just about on their time. It's just about, hey, what the fuck is going on? Because something feels off, right? So there are times where people like hit you up and it's like, you notice that they're just seeking clarity because they're curious as to why things have changed. And you probably needed to change the situation, versus somebody being like, hey, this sucks. What the hell is going on with us? Now, I've even spoke up and someone, cleared the air for me. They were like, hey, thank you for speaking up and letting me know how you feel. This is what's been going on. It has nothing to do with you. This is just what's been happening in my life. And that's a beautiful thing too. The thing about it is, what we have to understand is when somebody truly cares about us and when we truly care about someone else, the goal is to not be right. The goal is to take care of the other person and let them know that they are good with you, right? Someone who values you never wants to know that they are intentionally or that they are hurting you with their behavior. Their behavior, not their existence, but their behavior, right? So that's also something to keep in mind too on either end. When you speak up about something that makes you feel uncomfortable, and maybe it is hard for you to do, trust the relationship. Who is this person? What do they mean to me? What do I mean to them? Did I speak up about what's going on? If I didn't, then, well, I'm expecting them to behave in a way, or I'm expecting them to do something that they don't even know that they should be doing. One, if they speak up about something, How do I handle that? And if you're a person that's constantly apologizing for other people's behavior to kind of like, appease, stop doing that. I don't want you apologizing for every single thing. If you feel a certain way based off of somebody's actions and behavior, don't feel a need to apologize to how you respond, because every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Like I said, for me, my boundaries or having my guard up is based off of history with this person in particular, based off of certain things that they said and did and just how they move, or just in general. So I will not apologize for keeping people in a safe space or parameters. I'm not going to apologize for that, but I will apologize for how my actions may have affected you. My actions, not my existence, but my actions. And now what happens is this. Now that I have been made aware of how you feel and you have been made aware of the things that affect me and how I feel, there's now an equal playing field. And if either person decides to continue certain behaviors that affects the other person, then we can now walk away without having another conversation about what happened, because we talked about this and we know ourselves well enough to know, like, okay, this is not a green relationship. It has history. So it's like at the point, if there's not some resolve, then something else needs to be done, right? But one of the things he said, he was like, well, you haven't given me the chance to fuck up. And I know that's scary to have somebody say, because it's like, I don't want to give you the chance to fuck up. And I said that, so I was like, I don't want to give you space to do that. I've dealt with that enough where it's like, there were moments and opportunities where somebody had space to do what they did and they fucking did it. They cleaned house. And I don't want to go through that anymore. I personally don't want to go through that anymore. But what he meant is that having the space to celebrate me, to be a part of my wins and everything like that, without having to find out about it through third party, aka social media, and allow him into my, so to speak, my garden of just like what I nurture, what I take care of, allowing him into that and to see what he does with that. See, trust is earned, right? Trust is earned. It's not just given. And that's a lesson I had to learn. Not everybody deserves your trust. Not everybody's earned it. And I've given my trust willingly to people, and they betrayed it in a big way. And it's like, fuck, what do I, now what? How do I get past this? So discernment is necessary, but like I said, pay attention to how people show up when it comes to you, because if this person didn't care, they wouldn't have spoken up. We would have just kind of went our separate ways. I would have been okay. He would have been okay, whatever the case may be. Okay on the surface, but not okay in spirit, because there's always the question of what the hell happened. Sometimes people are addressing situations because they want to keep their relationship with you, because they care. There are some people that want to keep a relationship with you because there's access there. There's benefits of some sort. And sometimes it's not materialistic. It's just energy. It's like, oh, okay, I know that you're a supportive person, and when I need that, I'll come to you. I want to be able to come to you. And there are other people that, hey, I want to be in your life and I want you to be in mine. What the hell is going on? And I've even, like I said, I've had that conversation with some friends too, and either they responded in a healthy way, or they just disappeared. And that sucks, because it's like, sometimes we think a relationship is healthier. We think, but we already feel that something's awry, because the conversation that I approached with one of my buddies and they just never responded back to me, I already knew that something was off. And that was my confirmation. There's confirmation and confusion sometimes too. I want to say that. So that's the reason why I say, don't apologize for your existence, because you're not far off. I know for a fact that who I am and my level of discernment is not a misfire. But Is there space for me to allow other people to be present? Absolutely. 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 And not everybody needs to be tested, but it's okay for you to still have discernment. All right. It's okay for you to still have discernment. So be willing to apologize when it's necessary. Don't apologize for existing. Do not do that. I'm telling you that right now. That's not what I'm saying. If you take anything from this, the apology comes with accountability, right? And you are not going to hold yourself to a regard or a standard in terms of you just existing and being who you are with layers and layers of experience, maybe trauma, whatever. You have your discernment, but there are some people, and sometimes it's very few, that really want to be present in your life and they want to show up. Sometimes we have to give them the room to show up. If they fuck up, all right, cool. It's not going to destroy you as much as you think. If you've gotten through a lot of life where you have had, situations that just weren't favorable, you can get through this. But you get to decide who has access to you at all times. It is always up to you. That is your choice, right? That is your choice. But allow yourself to be, to be wrong. The reason I say that is because oftentimes we are seeking clarity or apologies from others that we don't get because they feel that they never did anything wrong. Okay? You could apologize for your actions without apologizing for who you are. Those are two different things. And sometimes clarity is the medicine. The medicine for you, medicine for the other person. Speaking up about what matters to you is so important and is so necessary. And allowing people to feel safe enough to speak to you about what's going on with them is also necessary. Allow it to be a two-way street in a relationship that's really important to you. All right? Because ambiguity is a bitch. And a lot of times it's not necessary. And that's what I took from the conversation I had with my buddy. It was like, look, we are both coming from certain places of experiences. And my goal is to not make him feel a certain way. That's not what I wanted. That wasn't my goal. It was more of me to prevent myself from feeling a certain way about another person because I've done this dance before and I don't want to do it again. But doesn't mean that he represents everything I've had to heal from. But discernment. Pay attention to how people apologize and pay attention to how you feel when you are apologizing. That's all information, okay? I hope this episode made sense, guys. And like I said, I'm gonna add a Patreon tier because conversations like this, I think, are very important to have a little bit more rolled out. I think it's cool. And apology, like I said, is very nuanced because I found myself apologizing or feeling sorry for me responding to somebody's disrespect or mistreatment of me. And that feels weird because, wait, it's like, you made me feel bad. So why do I feel bad for bringing it? And that's not okay. That is not okay. That's manipulation, and it's important to understand what a true apology looks like. A true apology is changed behavior, not just words in the moment. All right. I hope you guys have an amazing week. I told you guys to do something last week. I forget what it was. It was being mindful of your social media intake. Haha, I remember it, suckers. Have you been doing that? Have you been paying attention? Because I've been catching myself. I know when I'm being mindless. And I know what it's avoiding, or I know that it's just like me scrolling out of fatigue. So keep doing that. If you didn't do it last week, get on it. Do it this week. It'll change your life, and it'll definitely open up some awareness in terms of just your behavior patterns and what that is a response to. Okay? So take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And thank you for supporting the coloring book. Take flight.